When I was 9 years old, one of my favourite cartoons was The Real Adventures of Johnny Quest, where the characters would frequently visit this virtual environment called Quest World, a three-dimensional cyberspace domain rendered in computer animation. It's primitive by today's standards, but my little 8-year-old mind was blown to the point when I saw this scene come up, I'd sit on an old exercise bike I found in the house and imagine I was in there.
I know, weird, shut up.
It is tempting to write off virtual reality as yet another overhyped fad, yet that would ignore the technology industry's long history of failing attempts paving a way for someone else's breakthroughs. It took over a decade for smartphones to become ubiquitous with our lives, and I know you're watching this while occasionally glancing down at your phone once in a while. Stop it, Dan, I see you there. Early VR headsets themselves date back to the 1960s, while Nintendo and Sega in the 1990s tried their hand in the consumer market with the ill-fated Virtual Boy and Sega VR systems, respectively making everyone who came into contact with them dizzy and motion sick, and we never heard from them again. But now, with virtual reality headsets being massively improved, the window of motion sickness shrinking all the time due to better frame rates and displays, and now even with Valve recently releasing their Index VR headset and coming in at a whopping £1,000
at the time of this writing, which I am making for educational purposes,
had me checking out YouTubers' reactions to their Aperture Science demo, which was a game that utilized the new controller's capability to read all of your finger digits. It got me doing some thinking. First off, oh, so you had time to make this, but you're not gonna make Portal 3, that's fair. You pretty much got those guys from Node make their version of Half-Life 3 for us, so just keep making money in stupid ways that not many people in hindsight actually enjoy based on the economic climate, but let's not talk about that, Gabe. I haven't played anything in VR since the early 90s where everything essentially looked like this, and I'm pretty glad that the overall progression of Moore's Law is happening, otherwise we'd all be screaming like this guy. Why anyone thought that this 12 frame a second non-polygonal mess was being quoted as transported into a new world is beyond me, unless it's another world made out of pain.
It just wasn't worth it, man. It just, oh shit, that salsa, that fucking burns, oh my god.
Seeing now that virtual reality can be more realistic and immersive and an all-encompassing reality, that is virtual, I guess.
I wanted to dive eyeball first into VR.
But since my PC has an Nvidia 750 Ti and is basically on par with a PlayStation 3, it's definitely not going to happen unless I spend a good chunk of money upgrading to perhaps a passable VR experience, and even if I did spend a few months getting all those parts with ray tracing in 8K and 120 frames a second, I didn't exactly have the money to burn on a HTC Vive. How much is that? I'm sorry, but I'd rather spend 2 weeks in Hawaii, or I can try struggling to scan my messy studio for scale VR.
I'm guaranteed to destroy something if I play anything in here.
Even the wireless adapter costs more than a Nintendo Switch, and I'd personally rather play Mario on the bus than deal with one less wire in my life.
The literal bane of my fucking existence.
So, the best option for me was to sell a bunch of games I don't play anymore and my old Wii and my Wii Fit board, and I got a used, but mint condition, PlayStation VR headset. Trading in all that stuff at my local CEX brought the price down massively, to me only having to spend about 17 quid instead of having to sell a kidney for a Vive.
Wow, it actually feels like I'm bleeding internally.
My experience for the last few weeks in VR has been somewhat eye-opening, wondrous, and occasionally freaky. And maybe I'm some kind of mutant, but I've played every kind of game from racers to games where you run on the spot to flying around in 360-degree space, piloting mech suits, going downhill on a skateboard, exploding car chases, and nothing has made me motion sick yet, probably due to today's better tracking and comfort. And yes, I know what some of you were gonna say, but the screen is only 960 by 1080 and well, I'm sorry, Tim, but Watch Dogs ran in 960p and they all love that so bloody much, even after the obvious E3 downgrade. I feel like my purchase of a PlayStation VR was justified. I already own a PS4, it has a ton of games and experiences on sale sometimes, and I'm very much a living room couch sort of gamer. This was very pound after experimenting being a PC gamer for 3 years and doing about 300 Let's Play videos, destroying my sleep schedule.
Seriously, don't be a full-time Let's Player unless you're ready to compete with these two guys and you also have a team of editors and artists to help you. Your Logitech webcam and your £3 headset used to play Minecraft in 12,000 parts is not going to cut it.
What surprised me the most that this original PS4 that I owned, this 7-year-old hardware with barely 2 teraflops to its name could run VR at all. But what about the space-age headset that looks like something out of Tron? Well, it's goddamn comfy, that's what it is. There's no weird imprint on my face after a long playing session. It has space for my nose holes, and I can even wear glasses with this one. The built-in earbuds are a nice touch too, but I still prefer using my noise-cancelling Sony MX3s to block out the world and lock me into the experience.
Why is everything on fire?
Now, being a platform lover since Sonic 2 on the Mega Drive, my first full VR game that I ever jumped into was Astrobot Rescue Mission. And just look at this! This is my first ever experience in modern VR, and I was floored by the complete charm and sense of wonder and cuteness in this thing. Looking around in this galaxy of cute characters in 360 space, having me look up, down, all around, hunting high and low for little robot friends.
Oh, there you are!
Also had me platforming with a sense of depth and accuracy that I've never experienced before, while having boss battles that towered over me. The VR's sense of scale having me look up to the goddamn ceiling and filling my entire field of vision like I was sat in the front row of a movie theater.
Oh my god!
In VR, everything is life-size. Playing something like Skyrim on a flat-screen TV, the dragons are relatively small based on our perception. So if you're the average gamer like,
Ooh, you're a big one, ain't ya?
in Skyrim VR, those dragons are 20 feet tall.
Ah, don't eat me! I have a family! Eat them!
And it's that sense of panic and reaction in my juicy brain lobes that brought real tangible emotion to my gaming. Horror is very, very terrifying and enhanced in VR, as your mind struggles to tell what's a real threat and what was just made in an office of about 300 people who you paid money to make you shit scared of never leaving the house again.
Holy shit, that fucker is 8 foot tall!
Resident Evil 7 quickly became the PlayStation VR's AAA experience when it came out, and I can kind of see why after I picked it up cheap on Amazon for £7.
7. It's a sign.
Those crazy guys at Capcom knew how to get this stuff done right, even though it wasn't even required. If you've ever seen a horror film in a 3D movie theater, you know that you can just sort of look away from the screen when you know that something is about to pop out at you. But inside a VR headset with headphones on as well, your entire field of vision is filled with this gory madness, and all you can hear is the sounds designed to make you shake the shit out of the bottom of your trouser leg. Remember, you can't look away from this. This is all you can see. I might as well be sitting on a bucket for this one. And this isn't some short little tech demo. No, this is an 8 to 12 hour game that was just VR as an option, and it's this impactful.
Oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god.
I don't like this!
Moving on from horror, even a game that we all know and love, including your grandnanny, which you should definitely call more often, by the way, because she misses you, like Tetris, really becomes something else in VR. Tetris Effect in flat TV mode is a nice experience as your actions and movement choices interact with the music and visuals, and it really gets you in the zone. But in VR, bugger me dry, this is immersive as Tetris can be. Loads of particle effects and lights fly around you, every level sucks you into its themes. The 3D audio soundtrack feels like it's wrapping you in a fluffy coat made of dolphins, jazz, and the essence of petunia. It's maddening! This got me stuck playing it for hours, and I have never been more in the zone than I have with this game or any other game, and its game mechanics are still older than your mum, so show it some goddamn respect. But yeah, play it for 2 minutes and you'll see what I mean when it turns into 2 hours.
Whew, okay, that's a fun little session. How long have I been playing for? Yes!
But VR also has the possibility to get real weird and send you on some messed up journeys, I can tell you that. Crows, and Squanch games have made some really abstract experiences that I will never ever forget. I believe that they truly understand what it means to send players to another dimension. Accounting Plus starts off as this ethereal sort of story that eases you into a world before it goes all Inception on your butt, and there's a guy who pops out of a tree yelling abuse at you, there's a street gang that legally downloads films, there's a xylophone made out of bones, you go to court and there's these tiny lawyers you can throw at the judge, there's a spaceship that's powered by toast, there's a zoo level that no one on the internet has been able to find in 2 friggin' years, and your biggest fan.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god, I'm your biggest fan. I love accounting. I can't believe you're here. In my room. In my room. You're my idol. And I'm your biggest fan. Just kidding. Fuck you. That's so funny. Fuck you.
I'm never doing a Let's Play ever again.
And then there's also Trover Saves the Universe, which is made by the co-creator of Rick and Morty, Justin Roiland. This is a game that wears its weirdness on its sleeve while implementing virtual motion gameplay mechanics into its story and characters. Playing as an alien confined to a chair that helps another alien to rescue his dogs that have been stuffed into the eye holes of an evil bird chicken nugget overlord. What the fuck is happening here? It's all a really clever way to communicate to you as a first-person player helping a third-person character. You work together, but you control one character's entity and movements. It's clever and The story is friggin' ridiculous, but I was having a killer time with it.
So I know what you're all thinking, nerdy boy late to the VR party, story at 11, the end, but it got me thinking about how development for games and video in general are going to change over the next 10 years.
Think of the first time you waved a Wii remote to throw a bowling ball or play tennis. It's way more immersive than just pressing a button, right? Now, imagine that sensation cranked up to 11 by truly natural motion. Now, imagine going deep sea diving with sharks, or climbing Mount Everest, or visiting the White House, being Batman. I've wanted to do this since I was 5, it's beautiful. Pulling off gangster heists, riding around in futuristic flying cars, it's all there, just waiting for you. People just gotta take the plunge and try for themselves.
So, why aren't they?
Discussions around virtual reality have always hinged on gaming. However, there's a chance that I think that the best kind of virtual reality or mixed reality or augmented reality content won't actually be for gaming at all. The potential for really genuinely good educational virtual reality content is almost limitless. Imagine students being able to walk around Rome in ancient times by walking around the Forum.
Which is a thing you can do, by the way. It's in the PlayStation Store for the low price.
Or having doctors understand the workings of the human body for interactive walkthroughs. I lost another one, oh god! Virtual reality does have a future, but only if those experiences are high quality and affordable. The super cheap cardboard-based headsets, floating around Amazon and when you see them in sort of phone shops, they're not going to convince everyday users that VR is good or even for them. Instead, stuff like PlayStation VR or the new Oculus Go that just came out, which is wireless and really cool, by the way, they need to improve the content that they offer. It's already really good, but they just need to not let it stagnate and keep upgrading the headset experience until it becomes seamless and for everyone, regardless of money, social standards, age, health, etc. It may take a decade or two, but I'm really looking forward to the results of that. I also think virtual reality needs to have more of a social experience, Virtual reality really tends to work best as a solo pursuit, which is great if you have no friends. But the ability to have virtual reality users within the same game or contest would be incredible. Games like Fortnite are increasingly social, and things like Facebook and Twitter would be miles interesting if we could all see what everyone was doing at that time and interact and talk to them rather than looking at wall posts all day.
So, with that said, I would suggest that if you are going to delve into virtual reality, I think it's something that you should really consider if you do get motion sick, like on a boat or anything like that. And if you're really dubious about it, maybe do what I did and get one pre-owned, but still in relatively good condition. Mine hasn't got any scratches inside the lenses or anything. They're pretty good like that. And if you know someone that's got one, try one out for yourself. There's a lot of arcades around that usually have a VR headset. Try it out, because it's not worth hunking down an inconsiderable amount of money if it's going to make you sick.
PlayStation 4's install base of almost 100 million people, and Sony's expertise in this sort of thing. Look at Astrobot, they know what they're doing! And I honestly can't wait for this technology to keep progressing and just bring new experiences that we'll never be able to experience any other way.
Oh, and if someone can find a way to bring Devil May Cry to the VR environment, I will find out where you live and give you all of my money.